We are at the very back end of the spring cleanup program, about a month and a half into MLB The Show 22. So you know what that means. It is tier list season. We gotta update the tier list, go through all my favorite cards in MLB The Show 22, give my recommendations of who you should be considering and using on your team. You guys love these videos? Let's get into it. A couple things. First of all, these are my preferences. These are my experiences. I've gotten to try a lot more cards. I've learned and experienced more of the game, so now I can actually speak on more since I've given more cards a go. Also, if you are brand new and you want some early access to these tier lists, in my Discord, I have an exclusive channel for anyone who's a channel member here or a subscriber over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Scann. So you get access to these tier lists a day early, and you get image versions of these tier lists in my Discord if you want to see them as a good reference point. But now let's hop on into the tier list, go position by position to who I think the best in the game are. First, we have our catchers, and without going into the most detail, this position is obviously very slim. If you can get Joe Mauer, definitely get him. He's gonna be pretty expensive, but he's worth all the stubs. I really plan on getting him soon. Right now, there isn't really anyone close. I thought Gary Carter would be close, but I really don't think so. I don't like his splits. Not that big of a fan of his swing. I know not many people use him even when they have live series collections done. I think you're personally better off using Gary Sanchez's card. You face a good amount of lefties too at this point in the game. Guys like Dallas Keuchel, David Price, Randy Johnson. So someone like a Gary who's really good versus lefties, it has that power, could be really valuable. But honestly, the A tier guys are all very respectable. B tier guys, if you do good with any of them, like Carson Kelly, JT Realmuto, if you really like them, definitely keep using him. Nothing wrong with that. So find that option in the B and above tiers that you do best with and definitely stick them out. I know Grandal is not a diamond, but you know, he's right in this C-D tier with his low contact. Now we move over to first base, and the thing with first base that's tough, the top tier first baseman, there's some good competition with Pujols, Delgado, and Frank Thomas. They're gonna be great options. They're gonna be the ones you want to target for sure. However, that A tier is honestly really good. Like Josh Bell is great. I think Rizzo is very good from what I've used him so far. I know some people gave that card some flack. Vlad Jr. is incredible even with his reverse splits. There is an option in the A and S tier. If you're able to get them, that'll likely suit your team's needs. Definitely want to target that part of the tier list because those are the best in the game. Guys like CJ Cron and Torkelson and Howard and Dunn are definitely good still, but more so lower difficulty cards because at points their lower contact can be a point of interference and frustration. Playing Hall of Fame or Legend against really good pitchers, it's gonna be tough to hit with them. Never use Eric Hosmer, by the way. Now we're at second base, and I just made a quick change to it because I completely forgot to put him on the tier list. Jose Ramirez is the new really good card that will be the show since he got that live series upgrade. He's got above 80 hitting attributes all around. At this point in the game, he's gonna be a very good second base option because the live series quirks, potential inside edge boost that he gets out of that, and just being a really good switch hitter. He's definitely right next to Ketel Marte as a top tier option over there. Ketel will probably bring a little bit more contact. I think he does. Add a little sacrifice of a little bit of power, but one of those two options are going to be great second base options. Chase Utley's the guy though. I've used him. I've experienced it. The man is incredible. I think he can't get out, but obviously not everyone likes Chase. So if you're looking for anyone in that A and S tier, or if there's a really good shortstop, which I don't have listed here, who has a secondary at second, definitely put them there if you're considering those options. Here are the shortstops though. Obviously don't put every shortstop over at second base because there are a lot of shortstops with the secondary and the list would just be flooded at that point. But if you are looking for someone who can play second, choose one of the shortstops here that definitely can. Someone like your Corey Seager could be slotted there perfectly. Ketel Marte, great shortstop option. Shortstop doesn't have someone as good as Chase Utley, so there isn't that one head and shoulders option right now. So that S tier is very close with guys like Ernie, Michael Young, and Seager and Marte. Honestly, Tatis is close too, but his defense is so bad over there. I don't think I could put him in S tier. So basically anyone in the C tier and above at this point in the game will probably be more than viable for you if you're trying to make like a World Series push. Trevor Story, by the way, very good. Very underrated shortstop option. Whoa, you see that? You see who just made an appearance in the A tier? Whoa, where did he come from? That Jose Ramirez guy? Definitely an A tier shortstop. Now we move over to third base, and you see at Third, Albert's definitely the guy if you got him. I think third base is the great spot for him. Again, though, you could slot a shortstop like Seager or Tatis over here. They aren't going to be as good as Pujols, though. I think Pujols is just that guy. However, J-Ram is great. Vlad Jr. is great. Vinny Castilla, I actually really like my short-term use using him. I'd love to put him back there. Eddie Matthews is a night lefty option. Troy Gloss is definitely very respectable as well. Third base, C tier and above. Good cards. Definitely get away with using this point in the game. I would really shoot for the A tier though, at the very least. Guys like Vinny are a pretty affordable price and definitely will be by the end of the season of ranked. Eddie Matthews is very cheap if you want that lefty option. Jose Ramirez just fits anywhere, so if you need him, you can put him at third too. Now we move to our outfield, and I made some big changes from the previous list. I really made the S tier a lot more slim. Because as I've played this game this year, I've recognized that the S tier in the outfield is a class above everyone else. Guys like Clemente, Trout, and again, Albert Pujols are great outfield options at this point in the game. They just bring so much hitting to the table. They're a class above. Clemente hits for some power. Found out the man hits some nukes in this game, which is really good. Mike Trout is obviously up there as well. Now he's a 97 live series. And Albert Pujols, who's an S tier at every position he plays, definitely a top tier option still as well. Delgado and Acuna are very close. Delgado's defense is going to be really bad out there. Only reason I don't have him in the S tier, better as a first base option. Acuna, little bit weak on the contact versus right, where it may be a problem for some if you face some righties in the higher difficulties. But really, those two are the only ones that are like very fringe S tier. Everyone else is definitely like good second, third outfielder material in the A tier. Guys like Kirk Gibson, Ketel Marte again. David Justice has been really good for me. Yelich, Sheffield, Reynolds. Anyone in that A tier is a very viable third outfielder if you need them. If you have a God Squad, you have all the options. A tier can be all three of your outfielders as well. You could still be using these cards and have more than enough success. There is a little bit of a separation in the face of franchises though. Luis Robert and Mike Trout are just outside of the A tier. Brian Reynolds is definitely just a bit in there. I think his card's incredible, and I think he's a must-use. But guys like Luis Robert and Mike Trout and Acuna are also really good face-of-franchise options, along with guys like Cedric and Buxton and Cody Bellinger. Just use live series like Buxton because he gets inside edge, can play above the face-to-franchise one on many days, and also brings more contact versus righties, which is valuable. Honestly, anyone in the C tier and above is more than fine in the outfield, I'd say, at this point in the game. Definitely shoot for B and above, though. Next, we have our starting pitchers, and weird stuff happens with pitching, I feel like. However, I think the cream of the crop in the pitching is Randy, Keuchel, David Price, and Mike Messina. And honestly, Mike Messina is right on the edge of A and S, just because I feel like on a lot of the lower difficulties, he may get his butt kicked. His hits per 9 is a little lower, but also just his stuff doesn't have much gas behind it. He throws very slow. So if you're not hitting perfect corners, he gets hit a good bit. Randy's elite. Keuchel is a top tier lefty. And David Price is very comparable to Dallas Keuchel. Brings a little bit more velo, a little less hits per 9 in control. Kershaw, I think, honestly, might be very close to S tier. Carrasco here could be a very good pitcher with his control and break. He's just probably a Messina-like pitcher, though. Corbin Burns, Ohtani, Don Troy, like all these guys in the A tier are definitely viable rotation starters. I don't care what anyone says. I know Hershiser and Seaver have like generic motions. Like you can use them in your rotation. It might not be lights out, but they're usable. Pablo Lopez, I will stick by this, is a firm example that hits per 9 is not the whole story. If you use Pablo Lopez on like all-star difficulty, for example, he might get his butt kicked still. Hits per 9 is not everything. I had a tough time pitching with him if I used him. He barely got out of 2 innings when I used him on Hall of Fame difficulty. Always keep an eye out on the break and control along with those hits per 9 and Ks per 9. And I found some difficulty in pitching with Pablo, and I've hit him very easily. But he's probably right at the border of A and B. Your rotation at this point in the game is probably going to be B tier and above if you're someone who's playing often. And you could get away with using someone like a Randy Johnson. He might be in the B tier too. Or any of these guys if you just need that 4 or 5 starter. But overall, if you're looking for like a World Series push, trying to grind ranked a bunch, probably want to go for B and above for your rotation at the very minimum. And finally, last but definitely not least, we have our bullpen. I've tried a bunch of relievers at this point in the game, and I've learned that, you know, the attributes and everything is it's not the whole story. So I've done a bunch of shuffling on the reliever list. I think Kenley is still a top tier reliever just because of the attributes he brings and has that sinker cutter slider mix. The velo hits hard on those higher difficulties. Devin Williams is someone that I think is a must-have in your bullpen. He's not very expensive right now. He's got great stuff. That slow cutter plays really well. And just like the breaking stuff, especially that screwball, incredible. Definitely a must-use if you have him. And John Franco has exceeded all expectations. I personally think he's the best left-handed reliever in the game. You see a theme with a lot of these guys. They have sinker cutters and high velo. And John Franco's a great change of pace. He throws slower, he's got good control, and again, the breaking stuff plays this year, it feels like, so I like him a ton. But also, your A-tier guys like Hader, Britton are great. Michael King is great with his pitch mix and the stamina he brings. Get yourself Adam Ottavino. He's nearly quick sell value. His slow slider really plays well. B tier are also respectable relievers. They may play up to A or S for you depending on how you pitch with them, but also they may be hittable with the stuff they bring. Guys like Nathan Houston Street and Mariano Rivera could be pretty volatile if you aren't hitting spots with them. But honestly, if you're rocking a bullpen with C tier and above, you're probably fine. And if you pitch well with Tom Henke, can you give me pitching lessons? Because I can't pitch well with this man for the life of me. But there we go. That is it for my tier list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with my list? Disagree? Is there someone that I'm missing for some reason? If there's someone missing, I'll let you know in the comments. I think I have every card on all of the tier lists. I appreciate you all watching. If you have any questions, swing by the Twitch channel. I'd love to answer your questions over there. But that'll be it for this video. Appreciate you watching. See you all again on next one. Deuces.